it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video I'm doing a comparison of the Plum paper horizontal, which is this one here on the left, and the SHP planners horizontal, which is the one on the right. So they both have similar colours inside, and they both have a horizontal layout. So let's see what else is similar or different. So they both have a clear plastic cover over the top, this thing here, which just protects this cardstock cover. I've just turned it back so it's easy to see in the camera, otherwise there might be a bit of a glare on the cover. So the cover material on the Plum paper is really smooth. It's not really cardstock feel, it's more like a smooth paper, and this SHP one is more like a cardstock. The page size, the Plum paper is slightly wider. It is 7.5 inches wide, and the SHP one is only 7 inches wide. They're both the same height at 9 inches high, and as you can see, the SHP one is a bit slimmer than the Plum paper. There's less extras pages in the SHP versus the Plum paper, and also the coil is a little bit smaller as well. The cover, so you can choose to personalize the Plum paper cover, so you can choose the little frame here, what text you want. I opted for something just very generic, but you can add your name to it. You can do photo covers. There's plenty of covers to choose from with the SHP as well. So there's definitely lots of customization options. I really think that in terms of covers, I'd say neither are better than the other. They're both good. Alright, so let's have a look inside. So you'll see what I mean by the color scheme. If we could just go in. Sorry, it's going to be a little bit awkward because I do not have a lot of room to film this. So just give me a sec. Alright, so just ignore the dates on the Plum paper. Yes, I know it says 2017. I did a huge haul of Plum paper planners a while ago, so I do have some that date back from like 2017, 2018. They do still have the same color scheme throughout of their planners and the same layouts as well. They've just continued to add more layouts, but the overall design and colors hasn't changed. So as you can see, they both have a dates at a glance page. If you want big numbers, go with SHP, otherwise Plum paper is fine. This is just for the current year, whereas the Plum paper include the current year and the next year as well. After the dates at a glance, they have an annual overview page, and so SHP do include for the next year as well, so they both include that in both planners. So Plum paper give you a structured special dates page, and then SHP don't give you that. They just go straight into the first month. The other thing I wanted to point out is the tabs. So Plum paper include the tabs as default. You don't have to like pay extra for them, but if you want them in the SHP planner, you do need to pay extra, and I think from memory it was about $7. I think I will confirm that for you. I decided I don't really want to pay that extra because it is quite expensive to ship from overseas to get it here to Australia. So I'm like, if I just want tabs, I'll add some sticky notes where I can just make some of my tabs myself. So at the front here, for each month of Plum paper, you've probably seen this divider before. It's the same one they've been including for years. It's just different colors. It's got this like little herringbone type pattern on there, and then it goes into the month. So for the SHP, for their divider page, it's just this line notes page with the coloured strip. So it's not really a deal breaker if you don't have those tabs, because you can just flick and find the colour. See how you can see the colours there? They don't have like a special divider, it's just paper, whereas Plum paper, this one is printed on like a cardstocky type material. It's not just paper. So Plum paper also include the monthly planning pages. That's why it ends up being a little bit fatter than the SHP one. So you've got this structured page and then just a lined notes page. For SHP, it's just that lined notes page that you saw before. For the monthly spread, Plum paper unfortunately do the split boxes. SHP, I can't remember if they do that or not. Let's just have a flick through. You can see some of the colours while I'm flicking anyway, and if you look at the tabs for Plum paper, you notice that the colours are quite similar. So I'll show you that in more detail in a sec. So they do the split boxes as well. So while we're talking about colour, you've got this like pinky reddy colour, then there's light blue, navy blue, pink, love that teal, mint, and then if I look over here at the tabs which show you the colours, so again we've got similar mint, we've got the teal. So Plum paper include purple, but otherwise the colours are very similar to the SHP one. The monthly spread, it's really comparable. I mean, there's not really anything different about it. They've both got a note sidebar. I suppose Plum paper is lined if that's important to you. There's no dates at a glance in the SHP one, whereas Plum paper does, but they both still have the traditional box layout, and they both start with a Sunday week, as you can see there. I'd say the boxes are a bit bigger in the SHP. I just think they're a little bit longer, or maybe it's just the illusion that it's giving me because Plum paper have that like in there. Let's just quickly see if I put my finger there and there. Okay, so it's only like a little smidge more. I wouldn't really say that's worthy of mentioning that it's a pro. I do think one thing though, which is kind of major in my opinion, Plum paper will put the date, if there's any special things happening on that date, down the bottom of the box, whereas SHP, weirdly, have put it in like the middle of the box. I don't know why they didn't just push that up there in line with the number, because now it's used up a fair bit of space. Kind of annoying in my opinion, but you can just get some white out if you want to get rid of that. So let's have a look at the weekly spread. So in the Plum paper, you get this little shaded box on the right here if you want to flag like your most important task of the day, any appointments, anything due like bills, etc. And then you've got a lined space for each day of the week, and the same amount of space for every weekday. So Saturday and Sunday get an equal space, and then you've got a notes box up the top here. For the SHP, it's sort of in reverse. So instead of having that shaded box, just move this down so you can see it a bit better. So instead of having a shaded box, they've just got a blank white space here on the left, and then they've got lines. And then one thing that I think makes me like the SHP layout more is that they've got these circles here. So you could turn this into your giant checklist space, or just ignore the dots, but like I like that they're there, so you've got that option. The other thing you could do with those is turn it into a like hydrate tracker, because there are 8 of them for each day. Color in 1 for each glass that you drink. You could also divide this in 2, so you have unlined, lined, and checklist. I mean, it's easier to add your own checkboxes in Plum paper anyway. I just like it. And I also really like these little little flags for the dates. Nothing wrong with Plum papers either. I like the colored divider strips between the days. So they're both really nice spreads. There's nothing really like wrong with them. The SHP includes little dates at a glance calendars as well as a notes box, so they are quite similar. The holidays are printed on the SHP, whereas for the Plum paper, I don't think they are. I don't recall seeing them printed. And I don't think they do that with any of their spreads either, with like vertical, horizontal, or any of them. No, they don't seem to, which I actually prefer that, because I'm in Australia and some of the holidays in the US we don't have here, like we don't have the 4th of July. So yeah, they only print them on the monthly spread. And the other thing that I just wanted to point out with the Plum paper with their weekly spread, so when a month ends, they'll include grey shaded boxes for the previous dates along with the current month. So for this one for March, starts on a Thursday, but they've shaded out the boxes for the previous days. If you go to the back of the previous month, they then shade out the 4 days, so you're kind of getting 2 copies of the same weekly spread. So you either need to decide like if you're going to plan it all here, or maybe you plan it half here and then half in the next month. And yeah, I don't really see many planners doing that, and I personally would probably just plan it all like here and just glue maybe like a to-do list printable or something over those extra pages. Up to you. The SHP planner doesn't do that though, so I'll just show you one of the months where they do that. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to try and find a different color as well so you can see something different. I'll show you this really pretty teal. So as you can see here, they've just included it in the same month. Like there's no extra weekly spreads included in there. So as to my favorite color for each spread, I love this teal in the SHP, but I also really love this purple in the Plum paper. So yeah, up to you on whatever colors you want, but they are quite similar between the two anyway. And at the end of each month in the Plum paper, you get a lined notes page. For the SHP, pretty sure you do as well, because then it starts the divider for the next month on the page next to it. Yeah, so that one is for the previous month, and then that's your divider for the next month. So at the back here, let's just talk about the extra pages. So Plum paper, you've probably seen like a ton of extra options. It's actually almost overwhelming how many extras they have. And I have done a full comparison of the Plum paper sizes and all their extras and everything, which I'll include a link to down below if you are interested or you're trying to decide one. So at the back here of the SHP, they've got this grey shaded out like line on the side, which signifies the start of their sort of like add-on pages. And it's really just a couple of notes pages. So notes, and then you've got these contacts, and then we've got a pocket folder. I will show you the pen test for the SHP while I've got it here. So as you can see, the paper is not brilliant. There is a fair bit of ghosting for most pens and some kind of bad bleed through for the marker pens. However, the paper is really nice and smooth to write on, and the paper is really good in the Plum paper as well. Just they're both in both planners. It's really smooth to write on. The Plum paper, I don't have a copy here with my pen test. I'll include a link down below if you want to have a look at the photo, and I'll include it all in the post as well. I'll do like photos of side-by-side comparisons. But the paper in the Plum paper, I think would fare a little bit better than than this one. There's not as much like bleed through for the marker pens. There is still a bit of ghosting though. It's not perfect paper in either of the planners. You're going to have some ghosting, so don't expect, you know, completely blank paper on the back side. You will have a bit of show through. Now the extras for the Plum paper, I did not include any in this one to show you, but they do give you some like by default. So if you want to have a look at some of the extra like add-ons, I'll include a couple of photos in the post that will accompany this video, and I'll also have that link to download my comparison where I've included, well, I've listed out all of the extra pages that they have, so you can kind of compare it that way. I figure that's easier than me sitting here showing you all the extra pages anyway, which you might not even be interested in. So the default ones included with Plum paper are some dot grid pages. So I used to really avoid dot grid, but now I love it and I actually prefer it over lined paper. So I've noticed more planners are now including dot grid. So Plum paper has done that. They also have a passwords page, and then they have a contacts page just like SHP do as well. Very similar. They've even got similar icons for like little cool, quite similar. And then their pocket folder, which is included by default. They've also got the US holidays list, which SHP doesn't. And the dates of glance for the next year, which SHP included at the front of the planner. Plum paper have it at the back. And then the pocket folders, as you can see, I prefer the Plum paper one. I just feel like it's better because it's longer. Just bring this down a bit. I can get it open one-handed. See how like deep and long it is, whereas the SHP is quite short. And then at the back here, they include a quote, and then Plum papers has the double-sided pocket folder. So I think the pocket folder is better in Plum paper, double-sided, and it's longer. And then the back covers just have the same design printed as the front. That's why I turned that clear thing off, just so it didn't have glare before. As for the price point, Plum paper I do find is a bit cheaper, just because, I don't know, just whatever layout you pick, it seems to always be slightly cheaper than other planners. And then you can add the extras on, and then it ends up being around about the same price. So we'll do comparison down below. I'm not going to say the price that I paid for this one because it was a couple of years ago, and I want to give you the current price of what it is, because I purchased this one in 2020. This one was like 2017. I think it's gone up a couple of dollars since then. So I'll have the exact prices, and I'll include that down below as well. So overall, my final thoughts of which one I prefer. I like both of them. I mean, I'm always going to go with Plum paper because that's like the one I've said is my favorite for years, and I do love all their layout options. I like all the extras they add on. The paper, it feels really smooth to write on. The covers are really nice. Like, look how vibrant the colors are. There's so many cover designs to choose from. I'd say there's more cover designs than the SHP, but I mean, it doesn't really matter if there's more. If you find one that you like out of like 5 cover designs, well then, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So neither I think is better. I just think from my personal preference point of view, I like the Plum paper better. I do quite like the wider page size. I guess that is a bit different. Just gives you a little bit more room to write. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say don't purchase SHP, and I wouldn't say don't purchase Plum paper. I like both of them, so purchase whichever one you like. Whether you like the weekly spread better in this one. I mean, the weekly spread's really the only difference, and the covers. So leave that up to you. I hope this was like somewhat helpful. I know I didn't really give like a yes or no at the end of the video, but I mean, you can kind of see they're both good. They're both similar. So I'll have those links down below. Don't forget to subscribe. I usually post a couple of review videos each week.